H.R. Puffin stuff? You remember H.R. Puffin stuff?
Oh, I remember H.R. Puffin stuff.
Hey everybody, welcome back in the shed. I'm Troy. This is Dave.
Hello, folks.
Today we're talking about the top 3 70s acoustic singer-songwriters. But before we get started, why don't you leave your picks below, see if they match ours. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Also, if you have any ideas for future episodes, we'd love to hear them. So let's get rolling. What's your number 3?
Well, this is an extremely tough topic for me because there's so many great acoustic guitar players, piano players, whatever, singer-songwriters. I'm torn. I'm really torn, but I decided to, narrow it down to 3. And for number 3, I'm going to go with James Taylor.
Take to the highway, won't you lend me your name? Your way and my way seem to be one and the same child.
Now, James Taylor actually kind of got to some prominence in the late 60s. He was born in New England, but he moved to North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I think his dad was a professor at UNC or something. But when he was 13, 14, something like that.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end.
The song Fire and Rain went to number 3 on the Billboard charts. And that album went platinum, and it was a great album. I love that album. I actually have that album as well as the Greatest Hits James Taylor album, which is the showcase of his best stuff.
Good night, you moonlight ladies, rock-a-bye, sweet baby Jane.
During the 70s, he had many, many hits that were everyone knows. I mean, these are great songs.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina.
And, Carole King and him were pretty tight. And she wrote the song, You've Got a Friend.
I'll come running, oh yeah, babe, to see you again.
James Taylor was just a real pure singer, and a very accomplished acoustic guitar player. And he carried on throughout the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Had a lot of songs, and he's still, touring, I think, today. I lived in the Carolinas for a good chunk of my life.
And hey babe, the sky's on fire, I'm dying, ain't I? Said I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Great song, great artist. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is Harry Chapin.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then.
Love Harry Chapin.
And I really don't know too many songs by him, but the one song that I do love, because it just kind of takes me back to my childhood, is...
It takes everybody back to their childhood.
Is Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle.
For the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay.
So basically, that's a song about a father who doesn't take time for his son, and then the son grows up and sort of does the same thing to his dad, doesn't find time for his dad.
To see you, if you don't mind, he said, I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time.
I think of my dad when I think of that song, because my dad was always off working, never at home.
Same here.
Yeah. So when I hear that song, that's sort of what I think that's the whole point of the song, to make you think about your dad, and if you're a dad, to make you think about your son. And that's why with my son, who's 8, I really try to find as much time as I can to spend with him, because time goes by fast, man.
Sure.
And
Blink of an eye,
blink of
baby.
an eye. Next thing you know, they're out of the house. You know, I have a daughter who's 19. She's still in Waco, but she goes to Baylor, and you know, and I see her pretty much every day.
Hey, Dad, can I borrow the car keys?
Yeah.
See you later. Can I have?
And that was me. That was me when I was in high school. I was like, you know, I didn't spend time with my parents. I was ready to go, man. I was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that's Harry Chapin had so many great songs, and you know, he died tragically. I mean,
Yeah. In
I think
a
it was
car
wreck.
accident. Yeah.
He was one of those guys that, for my generation, we all knew his songs, and he was another one that got, you know, taken away too soon.
Yeah. That song sort of is in the same vein as Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
those two songs, like we've talked about on a previous
Yeah.
episode, should be sat on a mantle
Yeah.
somewhere.
No one's ever covered Cats
Yeah.
in the Cradle,
Yeah.
as far as I
No,
know.
yeah. There, you know who covered Ugly Kid Joe?
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue with the man on the moon.
It's a classic song, and Harry Chapin is one of those guys that had that little 5-6 years of whatever, and then died, and that's it.
That was it, yeah. But those songs live forever.
Yeah.
Or that song lives forever, for sure.
It's a great song.
Anyway, that's my number 3. What's your number 2?
Right, my number 2 singer-songwriter, acoustic singer-songwriter is Joni Mitchell.
Help me, I think I'm falling in love again. When I get that crazy feeling.
I knew you were going to pick Joni Mitchell. I
Really?
knew it.
If I overlooked her, I mean, it would be a glaring oversight. She's Canadian, American, who basically kind of got popular in the late 60s. David Crosby from Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young and Birds and all that, he discovered her in South Florida in the 60s. And he said, hey, you know, you need to move out to Laurel Canyon, LA. And she did. And she became like part of the scene, along with all those other musicians, hippie scene out there in LA. But the thing about Joni is she's an incredible singer, an incredible songwriter, and a very accomplished guitar player. She played a lot of open tunings, but her songs sound different because she did that.
The way I see it, he said you just can't win it. Everybody's in it for their own gain. You can't please them all.
In 1970, you know, she wrote the song called Woodstock, which was covered by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. It became a huge hit for them.
By the time we got to Woodstock, we were half a million strong.
She won countless Grammy Awards and Juno Awards, which is the Canadian version of the Grammys, over her career. She played on that concert, The Last Waltz. Do you know about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was produced by Martin Scorsese, and it was really the last concert by the band. And it really had everybody on there. I mean, there was Dylan and Neil Young, and there's so many out there.
Where the players lick their wounds and take their temporary lovers and their pills and powders to get them through this passion play.
Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, at least, were huge fans of Joni Mitchell. If you listen to the song Going to California off the How the West Was Won album, Robert does a shout out to Joni on that song.
Says she plays guitar and cries. And she sings, Joni.
When we did our best female vocalist of all time, I picked Joni as number 2. And it's because she's an incredible singer, beautiful singer, pure singer. And I think Rolling Stone ranked her at like number 9 as best songwriter of all time.
Yeah.
which is high praise.
I wanna talk to you, I wanna shampoo you, wanna renew you again and again.
Well, my number 2 is number 2 because he's not totally acoustic, because he does some more heavier stuff. Maybe he would have made my number 1, but he made my number 2. It is Neil Young.
Oh man, look at my life. 24 and there's so much more. Live alone in a paradise that makes me think of two.
I love Neil Young. I even love his more, I wouldn't call it more current stuff, because remember the album he did with Pearl Jam, Mirror Ball, that came out in the 90s?
I own it, yeah.
I do too. I have the CD, and it has a cool, the way it's made out of like cardboard or something.
Paper.
Yeah.
They got away from plastic jewel cases.
Yeah.
And they went to that, and that was one of the first ones.
That's a great album.
It is a great album.
It's not acoustic, but
No.
Neil Young is my number 2 acoustic.
Well-
100% sure that it made your number something.
It's my number 1.
Of course it is.
Be on my side, I'll be on your side. There is no reason for you to hide.
The reason is because Neil Young, to me, although he's been as adept at so many styles of music, I mean, he did some crazy shit like trance and all that kind of stuff. But when it really comes down to it, Neil wrote some of the greatest simple acoustic songs. He's such a great lyricist.
Old man sitting by the side of the road with the lorries rolling by.
But he's the epitome of less is more. I think some of his, best songs are acoustic songs.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though he rocks, he can rock when he wants to rock.
People sleeping in their shoes. There's a warning sign on the road.
You can take Heart of Gold.
I've been a miner for a heart of gold.
Needle and the Damage Done.
I seen the needle and the damage done. A little part of it in everyone.
Hey, Hey, My.
Hey, hey, my. Rock and roll can never die.
Of course, Old Man.
Old man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
Probably 20 years ago, I was living here now. I went back up to Dallas, hooked up with my buddy Dave Romo and Clint Borland, because we got tickets to go see Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young reunion tour. Because Neil had played with them, but he split off and he left them hanging a lot of times. And there weren't a whole lot of tons of concerts with all of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, including Woodstock. When they played at Woodstock, Neil didn't want to be in the video, so you always see CSN.
Yeah, it's a lot of close-ups of everybody else but Neil Young.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Understand, 'cause that is something everybody everywhere does hear you say.
Neil's there, but he's off camera.
That is
'cause
crazy.
they-
I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yes. But anyways, they regrouped and they played this, big tour. And we went up there and it was, it was a great concert. I gotta tell you, man, Neil stole the show. And one of my favorite parts in that show is they brought out a pump organ, an acoustic. My parents used to have one of these. You pull those little knobs out and he played After the Gold Rush on this pump organ as a solo. He had his own little part in the show.
Played his own songs.
Yeah, he played his own songs. And it was beautiful, man. It was awesome. Hopefully I can find it somewhere online and we can play a little bit of it.
There was a fanfare blowing to the sun that floated on the breeze.
He's an iconoclast, and he does whatever the heck he wants to do. And I think he's number one as far as the 70s go for acoustic singer-songwriters. And he rocks. He rocked the whole time when he was doing that, but he put out so much stuff that the acoustic stuff stands out.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. He almost made my number one, but I had to go with somebody else who is pretty much an acoustic guy, but it is Jim Croce.
Oh, great choice.
Operator, well, could you help me place this call? 'Cause I can't read the number that you just gave me.
I almost referenced him earlier, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
But Jim Croce is a great short span.
Short span, because he died tragically in a plane crash.
Yes. I watched this documentary about it.
Really?
And it was really a kind of a sad thing, because what he was doing is he was going back to a place where he had committed to playing before.
Because he canceled a show or something?
Because he canceled the show,
Yeah.
and it was a small venue, and he had gone back to play this concert. And when he was leaving, the plane never really got off the tarmac and crashed, and he died.
Yeah.
But he wrote so many great songs.
I think the first song I ever heard when I was a kid.
Was Bad Bad Leroy Brown.
Bad Bad Leroy Brown.
Bad Leroy Brown, the baddest man in a whole damn town. Better than old King Kong, and meaner than a junkyard dog.
I loved that song when I was a
Yeah.
kid. And another one was, you don't step on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind.
You don't put mask off a old Lone Ranger, and you
Don't mess around with Jim. Boom, da, da, da. Which is a song about a pool hustler named Jim.
Yeah.
And as the song progresses, this other pool hustler who got screwed by Jim, I guess, screwed him out of some money. Slim came into town and
settled it.
Yeah, he was cutting about 100 places, and he was shot in a couple more. And you can better believe the song a different kind of story when Big Jim hit that floor.
killed Jim. So at the end of the song, it's "You don't mess around with Slim."
You don't pull the mask off a Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Slim.
Such a great song. And then after he died, they weren't going to release the song "Time in a Bottle."
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
And they decided to release it as a single.
That's his best song.
Such a beautiful song.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do.
Like I said, this is a tough topic for me because I can think of so many, like Cat Stevens, Gordon Lightfoot, who just died. There's so many great singer-songwriters in the 70s. And I think this is a good opportunity for our friends and viewers to give us their picks because there's so many of them. But yeah, that was a great choice, and let's close it out.
Thanks for watching In the Shed. Leave your comments below. Let us know what your picks are. Also, make sure to click on the link below and get you some merchandise. We got some beer steins, t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. And we'll see you next time in the Shed.
All right, see ya.